It's really an honor to speak to the auspicious group. I think the last time I spoke here was probably, Leo asked me in probably it was in the 1900s, but not the early 1900s. It is an honor to come speak, and I was fortunate enough to go down and speak at the Lions Club in Rochelle, Georgia, about, I don't know, a month ago. Old Johnny King called me, and I said, Johnny, you don't know what you're getting into. He said, yeah, you do a good job. But of all things, it was a star student banquet. And some of my stories might have fit, some of them might not, but it was a good occasion. I tell you, some of the things I say today are going to be true. Some of them may directly involve some of you people sitting in here. And if I hurt anybody's feelings, it's all in fun now. And anything in the statements I make related to Middle Georgia College, I want to put parentheses around it. That's dated from 1968 to the year 2000. And they still let me go up there and visit the wellness center and all that kind of stuff. But nobody's asked me for my advice, but I would really be glad to give advice from time to time, but they hadn't asked me. And thinking about coming down here and speaking to this group, I had a dream last night. And you know, it is kind of nerve-wracking. And the dream, I died and I went to heaven, like all old coaches do. And in that dream, I dreamed I died and went to heaven, and I got up there, and the old St. Pete met me at the pearly gates. He said, come on in, Ben. So I was glad to get on up there. And he said, well, all you got to do now is, you see that ladder over there? And I said, yes, sir. He said, you got to go up, climb that ladder, go up there and list your sins on the chalkboard and you're in. Well, he said, here's a piece of chalk. He gave me a piece of chalk. It was about 8 inches in diameter, about 6 feet long. Man, I threw that thing over my shoulder. I went over to the ladder, climbed up, got about halfway. I felt something on my fingers, and I looked up, and it was Jackie on the way down for another piece of chalk. Then I heard that Bob Brockman, he left, didn't he? Well, anyway, Bob Brockman was off on one of those county commissioner trips, and he was at Athens, and so he, showed his pass as county commissioner, and they let him in the gate and up in the top of the bleachers. And we've all done this before. We get up there and we got a seat on the 57th row in the upper deck, and he got to looking around. He saw a space down the 50-yard line, about 3 or 4 rows up. And he got eyeballing that, and he kept moving around, waiting for somebody to go. Nobody ever went to the seat. So Bob got brazen, and I've done it myself, and not all you good Rotarians will do that, but you finally ease on down there and lean over, and he asked the guy, said, is anybody sitting in that seat? And the guy said, no, go ahead and have a seat. So Bob sat down there, and then he got to talking, and the guy says, Bob says, well, I don't know why anybody would not sit in this seat. I mean, it's a great seat. And the guy said, being honest, it was my wife's seat. Said, we have not missed a Georgia home game since we've been married. And Bob said, where is she today? He said, well, unfortunately, she passed away recently. And Bob, doing politics, said, well, I can't understand it. There wasn't anybody in the family, children, brother-in-law, or whatever, that wouldn't make use of this good seat. And the guy said, no, they're all at the funeral. and I'm going to tell this, and I'm going to get out of talking seriously in a second. But now, you Georgia people, and I've heard a lot of you talk about some of the other schools, we all know then Alabama Chiefs, but they got a guy from Baines, Georgia now as a head coach, so that all I've seen. Auburn Chiefs, Alabama, Tech Chiefs like crazy, but Georgia never cheats. We all know that. But they tell me the story of how, and the coaches in the junior college league used to use this too, in dealing with A-back. All of you been around know that A-back was a fierce rival. But I got this story from Georgia people. They said, good old boy riding around with his girlfriend, just cruising through the neighborhood, said, how could you tell that he was from Auburn? They said, easy, got tobacco stains on both sides of the car. But what I was going to talk about a little bit, seriously, is Middle Georgia College, my memories of Middle Georgia College. Now, when I came here in 1968, I had hair. And I'd been somewhat successful in the high school and coaching football and coaching basketball. So I was pretty, I thought I was going to the University of Kentucky. And, but when I got here, the first year I was here, 7 wins, 20 losses. And it came to me, I'd heard this old South Georgia saying all my life. You think you're a good coach, and I thought I could coach that chair back to where he could play. But anyway, that old South Georgia saying is, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken feet. And that's not the way I heard it when I was growing up. But what I'm saying is, good players make good coaches. So I got out and got busy, tried to find some pretty good players. But when I came here, something about the college, and some of you, I see you got a few gray hairs, some of you might have been students at one time or another. The dining hall at Middle Georgia, Leo, you may remember, the dining hall at Middle Georgia College was upstairs over here on the corner where they call it Memorial Hall, the math office, where all the computers are, Tom. That was the dining hall. The student center was downstairs under the dining hall in the basement. They call it the dungeon now, but I've heard it called other things. But in addition, of course, the old gym was gone. The gym was over here was built in 62, I believe, the new gym. Didn't have that new dining hall. The new dorm was Harris Hall. It was new. Then we had the girls lived in Haynes. Those two over there in the corner. Didn't have Willem. We don't have Willem anymore either. But anyway, they used putting the students up. And the population of Middle Georgia was exploding. We had about 950 kids when I came here. And I'm just reviewing some of it. I wasn't sure about it. I thought I remembered because I had to negotiate deals for my basketball players to get in school and whatever. So I went over to the library, pulled out a catalog. They don't have catalogs anymore, by the way. But I pulled out a catalog which said, in case to keep up. It cost to go to Middle Georgia College in the fall of 1968. $865. That was a 7-day meal ticket. They used to serve 24 meals a week in the dining hall. And fees, all that stuff, books. I had a little note that said books may cost you $25 to $30 a piece. Student activity fee, $40. Now, that's when Coca-Cola's cost a dime also. You've got to keep that in perspective. But, since I've had 3 grandchildren in college in the last 4 or 5, Tyler won an extra year, 5 years, I know what it costs to attend college now. And I just thought that was a pretty good trade-off there. And then they put up students in Peacock Hall. Some of you know where Peacock is, Tom, you do, and Dr. Ricks. But Peacock had the largest rooms in any of the dorms. They put 3 to a room in Peacock, in Harris Hall, it had a big rec room. The old Harris Hall, which was the new Harris Hall, had a big rec room. They put up bunk beds. It looked like a army barracks when you went in there. And then along the way, all of you remember these apartments right across the bridge over here? And the Briarwood apartments right there. You had to be a sophomore, they'd let you live off campus. Something else I thought was unique. You might have fallen on this, Michael. You had to make 800 on the SAT to be admitted to Middle Georgia College in the fall. That's when you couldn't make 2,400. I think the highest was maybe 12 or 1,500. If you didn't make 800 on the SAT and have some courses, you had to come to summer school and maintain a C average in summer school, then you could come back in the fall. And then along the way, they built the baseball field. Now, all of you I know now, and I mean, please take what I'm saying in context. Robert Sapp had a phenomenal record in baseball, ungodly. But Roy Amstead was a baseball coach when I came to Middle Georgia. Some of you may remember Roy. But the baseball field was down here where the swimming pool is. It used to be the football field. They wasn't playing football when I came here, but that was a baseball field. And several stories on Roy. And he used to have to drag the field. And most of what I say is true. I don't know if any of you remember his wife, Judy. They got married here. She had a little white convertible Buick Skylark. And back then, Roy would drag the field, and I don't know if y'all remember, you'd get a piece of cyclone fencing or close link fencing. He drug that field so many times. He was dragging the field one day. The right front wheel came off the car and rolled out there. That's a true story. In baseball, left-handed batter would hit the real hitters would hit the ball in the leg sometimes when they hit a shot down there. And when they started building the new dining hall over there, and you know where those windows and where you walk down the hall on the left, big old left-handed hitter occasionally, they had to replace 3 or 4 of those windows where the guy really rocketed the ball through the window there. Then Umstead built the face, but he was the instigator in the baseball field. Now I was here, I'm telling you true stories. And they went out on the top of the hill up there where the baseball field is. That was just a plain, just growing up in the weeds. He and a surveyor laid out the field, got it going, and then talked begun they were going to build a new dorm. Now, it used to be called the New Men's Dorm. Then it got the name of East Lake. So they found it was going to be too crowded, so they had to move the baseball field out a little bit, the layout. And they got that going. And but when we started the baseball field, Roy Amstead and his players, we had no scholarships. And some of you heard that before because you've seen me begging. But we had no scholarships. We had National Defense loans, Pell Grant, they call them something else now, loans, work aids. You know, my players, Robert's players, Roy's players worked at whatever the going rate, $3 an hour, whatever it was, and they raked the field and they hoed grass and they ran the field off. And, but anyway, that's the way it worked for. And Roy had super success. He took the first team ever at Middle Georgia College to the National Baseball Tournament, 1974, 75, I think. And of course, the athletic director had to go along and make sure things, went right. Phone rang, I answered and said, I said, hello. I said, this is Joel Eves. Joel called Eads, AD at Georgia, called out to the national tournament, offered Roy the head job at the University of Georgia. Later on, we had another guy that coached baseball here, go to university. What was that guy that Sam? It was Sam. I think he won, I couldn't believe it. His record was like 800 and something, and unreal. And he developed some pretty good players along the way. And later on, some of you younger guys, we had a guy named Barry Schallenberger. Any of you remember that name? He was a baseball coach. Coached here a couple of years, and he left here to become the head baseball coach at the University of Alabama. So y'all got to realize that Coach Rogers did a super job developing baseball coaches. And there's more to that story. That reminds me that Jackie, when I've said enough, just tell me to shut up. That reminds me of another story on Jackie. One day I'm teaching class, and I taught like I coached. I was a hands-on teacher. You know, I used to tell them the first day of class, this room is only big enough for one clown, and that's me. I don't want to hear it, you know. But anyway, I was giving a test or something and walking around, and I walked by Jackie's desk, and I'm looking, and I heard something say, "That's some beat." That got my attention. I turned around and said, "What did you say?" He said, "Sweet old Ben." And let's see, I could tell stories from now to dark 30, but some of them are true. The first pitch in the new baseball field, and Leo, you'll love it. The baseball field completed the first game ever played on the baseball field on the hill over there. Mickey McFall. And none of you, those of you that don't know Mickey McFall, you're missing a special treat. 2 tours in Vietnam, Green Beret, Battlefield Commission, phenomenal. Up until he was probably, he's 82, 81 now. Hey, he'd go run a marathon. I mean, he was that kind of dude. But he was into skydiving. In fact, he got skydiving instituted at Middle Georgia College for a PE course. I'm very serious about this. We got skydiving. They go up tomorrow and jump out the plane. But Mickey was going to skydive, bring the baseball for the first pitch at Middle Georgia Stadium or Spectre Field or whatever it's called now. Mickey's job. The plane, now, I forgot I left off the part, all that over there where the maintenance building is, that was woods. On the left, all that was pine trees. There wasn't any wellness center. That was just an area over there. Here comes the plane over the field. You know, all of us looking. Mickey jumps out. He starts down and the wind's blowing a little bit. Mickey's drifting. He comes down and they drove the pine trees over there where the soccer field and all the girls softball field. They had to go dig him out of the pine trees and bring the ball back to the mound. Now that's a true story. And then in another story, Mickey, he was going to deliver the football, place across the road, Hawkinsville and Cochran, you know, we don't like each other. Middle Georgia and ABAC don't like each other. But Mickey was going to deliver the football to the officials on the 50-yard line. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Hawkinsville football field, but down on the end of the field, and they've got a big old cyclone fence with barbed wire around it. Here comes Mickey. Down, float. They had to go down here. Had to go scrape him off the barbed wire down there. George Porter was the official of the football game that night. But I say that because I consider Mickey McFall one of my closest and dearest friends. We shared not the same office, but down the hall for about 25 years. And I'm trying to think of some other stories that I can tell you some basketball stories and just slap me in that jacket. But all of you know ABAC was a rivalry, an intense rivalry. We go to ABAC, and now that's back when we had Warriors. We were fortunate enough to have a guy that dressed up like an Indian with a full war bonnet, feathers all the way down. And they'd have a gym full. They'd throw rotten eggs at you across the floor and that kind of stuff. But had a little scuffle down there. Not players or cheerleaders now, but fans. We used to carry 300 or 400 people. When we played A-back or Bruton Parker, they'd load up the bus and go. But we had a little scuffle down there. And it's such a scuffle, they wasn't going to come up here and play us. We played with them first. And so the two presidents, the two basketball coaches, the two ADs finally met and worked out an amnesty deal that we could play the game. And so we blocked off the middle of the gym up the walkway. Middle Georgia people could not cross on the other side. The ABAC people couldn't come over on that side. They came in with a bus. Now, some of you older people keep up with this. You know, hey, we must have had 30 or 35 law enforcement people, state patrol, Middle Georgia security, Cochran police, Hawkinsville police, met them over at the bridge, escorted them over here. They pull up and they wouldn't let them park in front of the gym. They made them park over behind the baseball field. And they said when they unloaded them off the bus, they took baseball bats, chains, that kind of stuff away from them, put them on our bus, bust them over to the back of the gym. They came in the back door. Now the Middle Georgia students, you know, they were fired up. They had a big old sign, A-back, parking tractors in the rear, all that kind of stuff. But all the Middle Georgia students were dressed up in ties. The girls had their little party dresses on. And A-back come in the back door like that. But it was a trip. And I think we won the game. But let me tell you, I could tell basketball stories and baseball stories, and I could tell some stories on some teachers, but I might hurt their feelings. I don't want to get sued and that kind of stuff. But anyway, recruiting. We had no money. The only money I had until Dr. Welch came on the scene, and he was the last one I worked for, was money. And some of you are going to smile when I say that I went out and begged. You know, I personally, me and my student aide, cheerleaders, go sell season tickets and try to talk them, rather than giving us $20, give us $30, sell them a $25 ad. Now, I used to get the program printed. We'd go out and sell $2,000 worth of ads, carry the plastic printer, and then charge us $1,800 to print it. And it didn't take me long when I got to say, you know, that's not good arithmetic. And then y'all may remember Tom, I know you do, Mr. A.D. King ran the print shop, and that was something I left out of my story. Alderman Hall, which we're all proud of. You know, it's a good eating, good assembly place, great office for the security, whatever. When I came here, that building was the maintenance building. All the carpenters, bricklayers, mechanics were in the back. All the saws in the front, that little old room called the print shop. They printed everything the college did. But Mr. A.D. King, I finally convinced him to, I don't know if any of you remember A.D. I don't care what you asked him, he was busy. Had too much, everybody, Tom Lassie to carry stuff in there for the print or whatever, the president. But, you know, I'd go down there and say, A.D., I know you're busy. You don't have time to fool this. But, you know, if you could get this printed by next week, I'd really would appreciate it. Hey, next day you'd have it laid on the desk. But we survived by learning to skimp. And I was going to tell you some recruiting stories. I've been on a recruiting trip down to Wheeler County. I had a good player down there named David Wright, about 6'5", kid could play. Well, I went down to see him, and he lived with his grandmother. The bus hadn't come in from school yet. So I go out to the house, and I go out there. She's killing hogs. Now, growing up in South Georgia, I've seen hog killings before. And Coach Rodney trying to make a good impression. Hey, I go out there and I didn't clean any of the chitlins, but I dug the hole. I took those hole diggers and dug the hole. Kid came in, visited with him, then he ended up going A back. Hey, that's true. But you get lucky. I had some good players over the years. I mean, some real good players. And you luck into them. I had one old boy, I got to tell this story, and I'm going to hush. But I'll tell you his name, because people know got named Danny Boyd. Some of you, if any of you in Middle Georgia about the time, I forgot when he was here. Danny was, I recruited him hard from Harris County. But he didn't want to go, he wanted to go to a black school. He went to Morris Brown in Atlanta. He stayed about a week and he decided he wanted to find another place. He called me, yes sir, he came in here. We got ready to start practice. First day of practice. I'm down on the floor, you know, with the guys down there. And Danny comes down, the dressing room used to be on this end of the gym rather than down there. We had PE in those days too. I left that out of the story. Girls could not go in the gym when the boys went there. Boys couldn't go in there when the girls went there. Didn't have co-ed dorms intentionally. You know, it might have been co-ed at times. But anyway, back to the Danny Boyd story. Danny comes down the stairs, and he comes out on the floor, and I look up, and my eyes get about that big. Danny's got that, and you know, y'all remember when the thing was large hair, wouldn't fit in the trash can? Danny had his hair up in pink curls, those big old pink curls. You know, I'm upset a little bit, but I learned to try to be a little professional. And I called that side up to him and I said, Danny, you know, that was, you know, we're in a small town and we get out and beg money and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, that's not the image we need to see. You need to go up there and take those curls out of your hair. And Danny's about 6'6", and he probably could touch that raft up there. He was a player. But anyway, he went up there and took his hair down and came on back on the floor. And man, dodged a bullet. Next day we start practice. Here comes Danny out and down the stairs with his hair in pink curls. And I don't know what I said to him. I think I said a Sunday school lesson to him. Anyway, I told him to go upstairs, take off anything, had Middle Georgia College on it, bring it down to me, get out of the gym. I didn't want to see him back in the gym ever. Well, next day or two, we got to practice, and you miss that guy can go up there about that far above the rim and pull the ball down. I said, you know, I got to thinking about it. I'm dumb, but I ain't stupid. And I asked, you know, coaches always have a guy they can go to, the captain of the team or whatever. I said, Danny mentioned wanting to play basketball. Yes, sir, he talking about it. I said, tell him to come see me. So we worked out a deal. He came over and saw me the next day. We worked out a deal. And the deal was I made him run 500 laps around the top of the gym and apologize to the team before he... See, coaches do that. See, it puts some pressure on the team. The coach is not the bad guy. It's the team if something goes wrong. But anyway, I had the manager sit over there and put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He got them all in, and then he was happy for the next 2 years, and I was very happy for the next 2 years because he was a pretty good player. And I'm going to shut up, but I could talk about Middle Georgia. It was 32 years of fun for me. And I got to tell y'all this, you know, we got all those fancy buses now, and I say we, Middle Georgia State University, and we had some of them when at Middle Georgia College. Hey, we had a 15-passenger white airport limousine. Some of you old timers might remember that. And guess who had to drive? The coaches. Me or Upstead. That's how we went. Now you can imagine going off the dogs and get your eyes beat out, what kind of mood you're in. You're mad at your players, you're mad at the other team. You want to run over somebody, having 12 kids in the back of that thing. And I did that for years. And then all of a sudden, again, I'm dumb, but I ain't stupid. All of a sudden I see the ensemble, and some of you old timers again will know what I'm saying. They get on that chartered bus and go to the airport. They get on the chartered bus and they go to somewhere else to sing. I said, I'm not going to get to renew my license. And I didn't. So, but now they got, hey, it improved. It improved.